What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video, and make sure you leave a comment. We're going to do some book reading again today, hopefully get some more interviews popping off soon. Talk a little bit about the video yesterday too, man, about Tommy Silverstein. You know, the point was this, that we live in a country where they say cruel and unusual punishment is against the Eighth Amendment. And that was kind of what my point was that we don't even care about that we've taken the Eighth Amendment and balled it up and threw it in the trash. And it wasn't just about Tommy Silverstein and the Eighth Amendment as it applied to him. Think about the people that have 20, 30, 40, 50 years sitting in federal prison or state prison. You know, many for nonviolent drug crimes, right? So I want you to think about the Eighth Amendment. Think about what is cruel and unusual. Some people weighed in on that video. Oh, he deserved everything he got. I think death would have been easier. How they did not break him mentally and emotionally, where he got to the point where he would just give up, you know, and do some things that would take him out of here, I have no idea. I can honestly say that he's a much stronger man than I. Probably stronger than many people, mentally and emotionally. And now you can probably tell why I made that video a long time ago in the beginning about the most dangerous prisoner ever. To endure what he endured, man, something is inside of you. Some kind of animal instinct, right? I don't know how he did it. You know, for those of you that weighed in and said, oh, he deserved everything that he got, it wasn't just about Tommy Silverstein. It was about the people that you love, man, people that you care about. It's about, you know, sending nonviolent drug offenders to prison for 40, 50 years at the age of 20 years old. If that's not cruel and unusual, then who knows? Who knows what it is? I can't think of a better case or a better textbook example of what cruel and unusual is, right? But we're not going to get into the lawyer stuff today. We're going to get into the book. So those of you that don't have it, Blood on the Razor Wire, you can always get a copy from us at freedomfighterspc@gmail.com. Or you can get it from Amazon. But like I tell you, man, we get pennies on the dollar. And you know we try to do good things over here. So hopefully, man, we'll have some interviews popping off later. Maybe next week, some this week, some over the weekend. I'm going to do some different videos, working on a DC video, working on, you know, another really good video I think you guys will enjoy. But we'll get into the book. We'll read some of the book, and then we'll go to, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for sure. Here we go. Let's start with chapter 31. And for those of you that are just tuning in, I've read this whole book on here, or I'm working on reading the whole book. Been in the studio too, so the audio book without no bull crap will be out soon, hopefully. Chapter 31. An old friend from days past showed up in our unit after being transferred from USP Hazleton. At 31, Pike was sentenced to a few life sentences for his involvement in a drug conspiracy in Jamestown, New York. Pike and I were the best of friends in pretrial detention. After a mini riot between white independents and white gang members at another prison, Pike was on a bus to this concrete jungle. Some independent guys hit an Aryan Brotherhood member named Pooch in the face with a rock and thereby ignited a battle. The melee made the USA Today after numerous prisoners were stabbed or maimed. Pike knew the gang members had a plan to attack the independents in another unit. Armed with this knowledge, he tipped the independents off using sign language through a window. When the gang members made it to the unit where the independents lived, the following morning, they were surprised. The independent car was armed, ready, and took the fight to the gang members. The end result, the white gang members were easily destroyed. The devil soldiers were left with punctured lungs and bloody bodies. The guys have been trying to reel Pike into the car. He's playing hard to get, which I tell him is a good thing. I trust Pike because of our previous friendship. As we walk the track, I lay things out for him. I explain my plan to exit USP Big Sandy in the near future. In response, he tells me that he might be in danger. He's worried about the white gang members. If the gang members find out that he warned the independents at USP Hazleton, it might be the spark that sets off the impending riot between us and them. With Steve's craziness escalating daily, the battle looms. I doubt Pike is in danger, although we have to be cautious. It's good that he's decided to play the fence close with the car. He can use it as a bumper. I explained that with his troubles, it might be wise to join the car. He objects. I wonder if my hesitation to make my move will be my doom. My grandfather had an old saying he liked. He would butcher Adalia Stevenson's hoary words. On the plains of hesitation lie the blackened bodies of countless millions, who at the dawn of victory sat down to rest, and resting they died. Every time I pause my plan to attack Steve, my grandfather's voice plays in my mind. I am so close. Pike should come with me. His next move should be his best move. The only person who knows what Pike is going to do is Pike. The holidays are here, and my immediate plan is to make it through them. On New Year's Day, I am leaving. It's the day Steve will become my sacrificial lamb. Prison does not only affect me, it hurts my mother, my family. Calling home is painful as my mother does more crying than talking. Visits are bleak, given the Federal Bureau of Prisons has sent me to Kentucky, a long way from New York. With the distance, my mother sends letters of love and encouragement through the mail. I shield her from my pain, never telling her what this place is really like. My responses always are filled with promising dreams of hope rooted in the appeal papers. To die here would shatter my mother. I know this, and that gives me even more reason to start over with the things I have learned here. Corruption is at an all-time high. Staff members could care less about what happens to convicts. We are all despicable creatures to them. For the right amount of money, some staff will bring in contraband. Money is the king of kings, the master manipulator. With thousands of dollars to be made for a few cell phones and a package of heroin, some seize the opportunity. People from this impoverished area have seen their fair share of corruption. Drug smuggling has been going on in Kentucky since John Y. Brown Jr. was elected governor of the Bluegrass State. Many important law enforcement figures and local government representatives have seen the inside of a prison as a prisoner. One of those was William Talby Bill Cannon, sentenced to 17 years on federal drug charges. Corruption seems to run in their blue Kentucky blood. The tail has used the smell of cash to hook one of the country boys working here. He bought 3 cell phones and resold 2. The biggest highlight for us in the car has been watching the Kim Kardashian sex tape. MySpace and Facebook are also big things for us. I am amazed that this small phone is a computer. Technology has changed dramatically, making me realize how long I have been separated from the world. Once a staff member is in a person's pocket, big doors can be opened. Big doors lead to big opportunities to make a whole lot of money. Like all of Steve's victims before, he has an agenda for the tail. Steve always seems to ruin everything he touches. If he maneuvers his way into the tail's action, he will likely destroy what the tail has going on. Lately, we have had a new guard working our unit. He is one of the few that isn't scared of prisoners, and he does not want cons drinking on his shift. Steve has voiced his displeasure about the new guard. Having him working our unit puts a cramp in Steve's hustle. If he cannot hustle, he cannot get high. Steve's main hustle is making moonshine. He has the best hiding place, at least up until today. There's a steel wall behind the shower that Steve unscrews with makeshift tools. Today his product is finished, but it's waiting behind the wall to be retrieved. Baby is a 19-year-old convict, about 5'1", weighing less than 130 pounds. Baby looks more like a 13-year-old freshman than a convict serving 15 years for 3 ounces of crack. With his small stature, he can fit through the hole behind the shower. Baby is behind the panel when the guard starts doing his rounds. Steve is panicking. He starts rushing Baby, urging him to climb out of the hidden catwalk. Baby is in distress. At Steve's ushering, he braces himself against the hot water pipe. The pipe snaps, releasing hot water that burns both Steve and Baby. With no other recourse, they scurry away from the shower, abandoning their wine along with the shower panel. The water sprays out of the hole in the wall, grabbing the cops' attention. Staff from the building maintenance department respond to fix the problem, but not before Steve sends the Baby into the hot water to retrieve the wine. Maintenance puts the panel back on, but bolts and screws are welded onto the panel, preventing it from ever being removed again. Steve explodes in anger at the turn of events. He blames the Baby for the loss of his hiding spot. Within hours, 2 missiles are dispatched to beat the Baby off the yard. Despite all he did for Steve, Baby was assaulted. This angers some of the men among us, even some white gang members. Ruling with an iron fist is making people upset. Now the wine has to be made and hidden in Steve's cell. His first attempt to sidestep this cop is unsuccessful. The cop finds the wine and pours it down the toilet. A few days later, the scenario repeats itself, costing Steve money he does not have, and biting into his ability to obtain the position that quenches his addiction. To obtain the poison that quenches his addiction. He threatens to hurt the cop, but like most of his threats, I ignore them. The guard has been gone for 4 days. Steve was able to bring the wine to fruition in his absence. This time he was able to beat the cops. The wine is turned into prison vodka, then is sold to Adam, Preston, and others. Experiencing a false sense of victory, the guys forgot about the guard manning our unit and Steve's prior run-ins with him. A party is starting in Steve's cell. Adam contributes 2 gallons of liquid fire to the fiesta. The party is in full swing. Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven booms from Steve's room. The intoxicated participants pay no heed to the SEAL's presence in the unit. Before long, the cop is knocking on Steve's door. "I need you men to step out," the guard says in a hardened tone. Steve looks at him with darkening eyes. "Step out for what, officer?" he asks sarcastically. "For a cell search." With a crooked, drunken smile, Steve replies, "Well, Officer Friendly, we ain't really fit for a cell search." The guys all laugh. "Well, I'm going to search this cell one way or the other." "Why do you keep fucking with me, man?" Steve yells. "I'm just doing my job, Steve." "This is some bullshit. I got a life sentence. I'm just trying to ease my time," Steve says in a clearly intoxicated voice. "I understand that, Steve. There's no hard feelings. I have a job to do. So are you men going to step out?" the guard asks, clearly on edge, but holding his ground. This is the moment of truth. Whether the situation will escalate depends on who gives in. Steve bows down. "Yeah, we're going to step out, asshole. Let's go, fellas." Looking on from Dennis's cell, I see everyone exiting the cinder block bunker with stupid looks on their faces. Alcohol and anger are never a good mix. Mix in a few life sentences, and with drunken misfits, things can get very dangerous. The cop is playing with fire, and to everyone's surprise, he's about to get burned. Burned bad. The wine is found, as is the moonshine. The alcohol finds a new home. It's flushed down the toilet. The gasoline to keep the party going has been discarded. This upsets the partygoers. The officer also confiscates Steve's moonshining tools, wires with steel plates, sending Steve into a fit of fury. As the guard exits Steve's nest, he tells him, "Next time I'm writing shots, and people are going to be on maintenance pay." When prisoners are put on maintenance pay, they can only make $5.25 a month. Men with no money coming in from the outside sources struggle on $5 a month. "So now you're threatening me, punk?" Steve asks. "Not at all, Steve. I'm just following the rules. You should try to do the same. If you did, things would be smoother for you," the cop says and walks towards his office. "What do you think we should do to this punk?" Steve asks his crew of drunken felons. "I should go down there and spit in his face," Preston offers. "Steve, let me go ask that punk-ass SEAL what his problem is." In his intoxicated state, Preston is being cheered on by his drunken comrades. He moves towards the officer. "How about I breathalyze you and send you to the hold tonight?" the guard responds. "Why don't you try it, motherfucker?" Preston slurs and lifts his hands. The cop pounces on Preston like a leopard, tackling him to the ground. Everyone is focused on the tussle. The unit comes to a defining silence. Preston's pants have slipped down, exposing his little white ass. It's as if he's intentionally mooning all of us. The day room erupts in laughter at the sight of his white cheeks. Adam barks out, "I've had enough of this motherfucker. He's dead." He's in a state of rage, a wild bull. "What's up? What are you going to do?" I ask. "He just embarrassed us. I'm killing that punk." I follow Adam as he goes into Frank's cell where the knives are now hidden. Adam has knives in both hands. "Man, I wouldn't do this, Adam," I say, trying to stop him. "Fuck him, he's hit." Adam leaves the cell. We all look on in stunned silence, knowing what is about to happen. Steve's lower lip curls up on his red face as he gives Adam the nod, sanctioning the assault on his nemesis. He wills the gladiator to do what he will not do on his own. Adam jumps on the guard. The guard gasps for a split second when he realizes that Adam has 2 knives with his name on them. Terror is written on his face as he realizes that his life is on the line. Somehow, he hits the deuces, but it's too late for him. The first knife plunges into his back. The second one follows, hitting him in the head. 4 or 5 more wild shots meet their mark. Leaving Preston on the ground, the guard scrambles to his feet, shrieking, hollowing. He's no longer thinking about breathalyzers, Preston, wine, or maintenance pay. Now he's focused on trying to make it out alive. Nothing else matters at this point. Every man is out of his cell, fully tuned into the Greco-Roman fighting pit. My own adrenaline is pumping, my ears throbbing. My senses are heightened. The air whistles through my ears. Adam is pursuing his wounded prey like a wolf on a white-tailed deer. The hunter stalks the cop, who backpedals, hands out. His blue shirt is stained blood red. With a mad dash, he tries to find safety at the door. At just the right time, the door swings open, sucking the cop into a place of refuge. Responding staff have saved his life with the opening of the door. Shock has coated the faces of the responding guards. They see Adam standing before them with 2 prison shanks fastened to his hands. His long black hair in shambles, sweat dripping from his face. Adam looks like a warrior, looking for his next opponent to conquer. It is registered that they are face to face with a man who has just tried to end their co-worker's life. Like Fred Flintstone hitting the brakes on his foot car, you can almost see dust rising from the floor as staff come to a shrieking halt. Negotiations begin in an effort to calm Adam down. Adam, what's the problem? Put the knives down so we can talk, an SIS officer implores. That guy is a piece of shit. He's been harassing us for too long, Adam says through strained breaths. Another staff member calls out to the unit. Let's get you men locked in so we can sort this thing out. He delivers this in a smooth tone, asking rather than telling. Man, fuck you. Go fuck yourselves, convicts respond. The situation is on the verge of becoming prisoners against staff. They realize this is a delicate matter. It has to be dealt with appropriately. Other staff members have arrived with non-lethal weapons, beanbag guns, pepper spray guns, and other tools. After some talking, Adam decides to surrender. He puts the knives down and backs away. I am overcome by a sick feeling, knowing that had guards been forced to fire on Adam, some people would have died. Knives would have emerged and transformed the unit into the wild, wild west. There was no way that beanbag guns could save every one of the staff. At least 70 of the 90 convicts would have attacked. When it comes to the cops, race plays no issue. Everyone comes together. In this place, the hatred for authority overrides all else. Firing would have been the equivalent to ringing a bell at a UFC fight. There would have been 2 teams, convicts against the cops. In here, all staff are cops. There was always potential for things to either escalate or become Attica Prison in New York all over again. Our cultural romance is The Outlaw, John Gotti, Billy the Kid, Bonnie and Clyde. Luckily, these convicts will roll with the situation. Adam's decision to end the standoff peacefully saves lives. Reality will hit him later. Any hope of leaving prison a free man is forever dashed. His thoughtless actions will cost him dearly. Another 20-year term tacked onto his 34 years. When a person savagely attacks another prisoner, consequences are nil. If a staff member is attacked, a court hands down severe consequences. With people who are serving life, those consequences don't really matter. But for men like Adam, who had some light at the end of the tunnel, an assault can be stifling. Once the convict's patron St. Jailhouse hero was escorted out of the unit, we all locked in our cages. We're all emotionally depleted. The next day comes with a full court press. All cells are searched. X-ray machines are brought in to examine mattresses, thermoses, and other items in an effort to find shanks. The warden himself is leading the charge. Once again, Frank takes one for the team. The knives are found in the safe. The fake shelf has been discovered. Somehow Ronnie gets a pass. Being Adam's cellmate nets me a full strip search outside of my cell. I am shocked that when I am returned to my stone fortress, rather than the shoe. Steve is removed, leaving me to wonder what I'm going to do if he returns. If he does, I am not waiting any longer. It's time to make good on my plan. My life is more important than the holidays. With Adam gone, the cell now belongs to me. Peace, solace once again. Alone with my thoughts, I look up to the sky. The radio warbles in the background. Delilah's slow jam show plays, and I imagine the sky opening to a celestial landscape with beautiful black stars glistening. Pearly white gates in the distance. Angels come to whisk me away to eternity. Willie Nelson's voice, along with Ray Charles. They sing 7 Spanish angels as I contemplate ending my life in this concrete mausoleum. Mental exhaustion has overcome me. The last 24 hours have been mayhem. The rain is beating against the window. I lay in my bunk asking God for just mercy. I am dreaming of a way out of my misery, thinking there has to be a solution to my desperation. Can this get any worse, I ask myself? He has shown up in my sleep, again, in the clouds, laughing at me. Chapter 32. Adam's actions ensured that we were locked down for a week. When we are released, the warden allows us to go to the commissary. During the lockdown, I had very little food. Hunger is one of the worst feelings a person can have behind these walls. Hunger pains make me hate this prison life even more. There is a knock on my door. Looking up, I see Pike's face in the window. I wave him in. What's up, Pike? I ask, sensing his nervousness. Man, with everyone in the car gone, I'm worried about Dinky and these dudes trying to get me, Pike says with a frown. You're cool, we still got people, And the dudes ain't trying to do shit, bro. Trust me on that. We can still crush them. For real, I think I'm in danger with Steve and Adam gone. Frustrated, I respond, look, man, you're not in danger. These dudes are scared of us, with or without Adam and Steve. Pike nods. You got me, right? If they make a move on me, right? What type of question is that? You're my dog. When they stab you, I'll be there to help you. Come on. Don't fucking joke like that, Chad. Man, you scary motherfucker, I got you, bro. We got each other. If they try to attack you, man, I got your back, Pike. Dude, I've been dwelling on this shit the whole lockdown. I ain't trying to die in here, Chad. I take a deep breath before replying. Man, you're good. If they even think about doing something, we're smashing them, kid. I reach out with my clenched fist to give Pike a pound, a formal way of telling him he's going to be safe. As Pike leaves my cell, I shake my head, second-guessing my own reassurances. He makes me think that the ABT'S might just try their luck. We still have a deep car. Even with our leadership gone, we far outnumber the gang members. Ronnie has assumed leadership of the car. Not my first choice since he is a vicious drug addict, but I make no objection. Although I think I might be a better choice as a logical thinker, I can see that letting him take the reins puts a target on his back, not my own. We know Adam is gone. The day after the assault, he was transferred to USP McCrary's shoe. The administration made sure that we all knew Steve was being referred for the Special Management Unit in Lewisburg. This is a new program where violent and dangerous prisoners are housed in cells for 23 hours a day. The program lasts about 2 years. Someone thinks this will change the way violent and angry men will operate. Incentives for good behavior might be a better solution, but those things are too good of an idea to ever happen in the federal system. With Steve now gone, I do not have to jeopardize myself or my well-being. Staying here might now be an option. Staying here, though, means I will continue to live a crazy life. But crazy lives are what everyone is living in each of the maximum security federal prisons. Although some do have less violence than this concrete jungle. Days later, Dennis is released from the hole. He arrives with a kite from the Viper. Steve's kite instructs us to attack the gang members immediately. He warns that any hesitation could be the death of any of us. But Steve's power has evaporated now that he is no longer present. All of us, our egos are high, and no one respects or fears Steve any longer. Everyone knows he has a one-way ticket to the SMOO program. We laugh his orders off. Ronnie lights the missive from Steve on fire. It falls to the cell floor like a stubborn autumn leaf left too long, clinging to a desiccated, falling in December, shaken by a bare and snow-dusted tree. The men in the car gather around Ronnie and laugh with him. Ronnie had his own hatred for Steve. He decides to send him a kite back. He tells Steve that his reign is over. He also calls him a chicken hawk, prison slang for a person who plots on younger prisoners for sex. The thought of Steve reading that makes me laugh. I can only imagine how angry he is. Not at the chicken hawk comment, but at the fact that he no longer has the keys to the car. This is all he had left. Now it's gone. The way I see it, Steve's order was a last-ditch effort to exercise his power. Power he knew was gone. Everything was about Steve. All along, no one else mattered. Controlling the car was all he had left. He crashed it. We seem to be coexisting with the white gang members, as long as they play by the rules. Ronnie has made it clear that if they renege, we will not procrastinate. We will attack swiftly and with fury. Although we are currently living in the uneasy truce between us and white gang members, violence has not ceased. Violence perpetually darkens Big Sandy's horizon. Today, the Texas-Mexican mafia has struck. Emmett, a TMM leader, was attacked by lower-ranking gang members. 2 of his subordinates grew tired of their leader's drug addiction and debt. One man drove a homemade ice pick through Emmett's neck. The other stabbed him in the face, his arm, and side. Emmett tried to run. He collapsed 20 feet away, his blood contaminating the ground beneath him. The 2 attackers did not pursue him. I watched as they blended into the crowd. Sometime later, Emmett was whisked away on a stretcher. Reality stares at me once again, square in the face. On any given day, I could become a victim. I too could find myself on a stretcher carried away. It could be my blood left on the razor wire forever. The possibility of never seeing my mother or sister ever again disturbs me. It frightens me. Leaving this world on a stretcher, dying on a prison yard, neither of these are options for me. It has only been 4 weeks since Steve and Adam were taken off the yard. For no apparent reason, Ronnie has pulled a Chris Angel act. He disappeared today. Ronnie did the unthinkable. He decided to check in. On his way to protective custody, he stole Tal's radio and headphones, along with 20 flat books of stamps. With only a few years left on his sentence, I can only imagine he was tired of being here. Maybe the leadership position was too much for him. Our car was deflated, moving slowly on flat tires. There is no structure. People can see our car unraveling, becoming weak. We look like wounded lions now. Hyenas salivate all around us. Pike and I are now a two-man team. His paranoia has caused him to make himself a stab vest. The vest is fashioned from a button-up shirt. He's sewn in large pockets where he can put books that he hopes will deflect prison shanks. A bigger shirt goes over the stab vest to prevent staff from noticing the protective gear. Pike has been wearing his stab vest for a week now. He has a job as a clerk in education, so he has to go back and forth by himself. Early this morning, I noticed Pike did not have his vest on. "What's up, Pike?" "Nothing," he says. "I'm running late." "I see you're not wearing your G-Unit vest today," I say, laughing. "Man, fuck it. It's too uncomfortable." "Well, I see you ain't paranoid no more. Thank God for that," I laugh. "Whatever's going to happen is going to happen." He alters his pitch, mimicking the Russian from the Rocky movie. "If I die, I die." He says this jokingly, heading out the door. "I'll see you when you get back, Pike." He disappears into the crowd of men going to work. It's a cold November morning. Pike navigates his way through the hallways, legal folders tucked under one arm. His vest hangs in his locker. Pike is unaware that he's being stalked by an ABT prospect named Russell and an Aryan Brotherhood prospect named Pinky. Once they are within striking distance, Russell is the first to attack. He sticks a bone crusher into Pike's back, then rips it out. Pinky plunges another sharp prison shank into Pike's back. Both lungs are punctured. Pike's paranoia has manifested into reality. 3 more stabs follow in rapid succession, hitting Pike in the head. He turns towards his attackers. He gasps for air, vainly trying to muster what is necessary for him to fight back. His attempts are futile. He is stabbed again, this time in both hands and his face. A knife goes through his nose and his lip. Pike falls to the ground in panic's grip as other prisoners look on in awe. Gaping at the battle before them, no one steps in to stop the attack. Pike's hands go to his face in an attempt to deflect the knives. Russell and Pinky keep swinging their cold steel knives. Both of Pike's hands are fractured, leaking blood. He kicks up with his feet at his attackers, fighting for his life, struggling to breathe. Death seems to be inevitable. Staff flock into the corner and order the men to drop their weapons. Pinky looks at the guard, barking orders. His heart racing, exhausted. He complies. Russell follows suit. He relinquishes his shanks, opening his hand to let them clutter to the concrete. The menacing steel bounces off the hard floor, loud in the now silent hallway. Like a wounded soldier, Pike stands up. Blood gushing from his face, hands, head, and back. Finding strength via willpower, he rips his shirt off, balls it up, and wipes the blood from his face. He has the presence of mind to tell Pinky and Russell that they are both whores for stabbing him from behind. Somehow, Pike walks himself to medical, where 2 20-gauge needles are stuck into his back and duct taped to his skin. Oxygen is pumped into his depleted lungs. Officials request a chopper to mercy flight Pike to a hospital, but inclement weather scuppers the transfer. Instead, he lays on a hospital bed while Big Sandy medical staff fight to save his life. At the hospital, the puncture wounds are tallied, 29 in total. Both hands are broken, both lungs punctured. Lacerations litter his beaten body. Miraculously, though, Pike lives. The hit on Pike was sanctioned by Dinky and a California brand gang member. Because our car had been so depleted, they took the opportunity to cause havoc. Cunning and secretive, the gang members waited for their chance. When that chance came knocking, they answered with violence. Pike committed no sin severe enough to warrant the brutal assault. It all stemmed from that USP Hazleton incident, the same place Irish mobster Whitey Bulger met his maker. Although Pike never assaulted anyone at Hazleton, he was nearly murdered for warning the independents of an oncoming attack. As a prospecting member of the Aryan Brotherhood, Pinky was selected to seek retribution. Pinky had less than 2 years remaining on his sentence prior to his attempted murder of Pike. Most prisoners are never charged in federal court for vicious attacks unless another convict dies. This time, though, it appears Big Sandy has had enough. Russell and Pinky are charged. Russell accepts a 15-year plea. Pinky elected to go to trial, was convicted, and eventually sentenced to 25 more years for the assault on Pike. His life fizzled out. The cop is telling us to lock in. I have no idea what just happened in the hallway. Someone grabs me by the arm. It's the tail. Chad, they just hit your homie. What? It does not register at first. Pike, bro, they just killed him. I know he just said Pike's name, but for some reason, I don't want to acknowledge it. So I ask him to say it again. Who? Your cellmate, your homeboy, Pike, man. The cop said he's dead. Get the fuck away from me, I say angrily. My heart is instantly saddened as I replay what he said to me just 10 minutes ago in the mock Russian accent. If I die, I die. As I walk to my cell, someone tells me it was Pinky and that ABT dude Russell. My mind is in uncharted territory. I close my cell door behind me and punch the wall. Desperate, alone. I know that I too am a target. Everyone knows how close Pike and I are. Since Ronnie's exit, some of the guys have urged me to take the keys to the car. Other factions wanted just one independent car. Ace has lobbied to be the leader. Both of us dislike each other, and I know that we need real leadership. In this dog-devour-dog world, it is either me or him. He knows it. I know it. What he does not know is I do not want to be the shot caller. I simply want to leave this bluegrass prison behind me. I am going to leave. I just don't know how. The metal lock clinks in the door. I am alone. Again, I stare out the window into a silent prison yard. The sun does what it always does. It dances on the razor wire. I take a deep breath. Exhaling, I contemplate my next move. I know my next move must be my best move. So those are 2 chapters out of the book, man. We're moving along. But that's prison, man. That's real prison right there, right? That's like the things that, some people watch prison movies and they glamorize this shit. They act like, man, they want to go to prison. They want to put it under their belt. But what happens when they send you to prison for 30 or 40 years? What happens when you do what Adam did? And, there's a long list of guys. We started with Troy Kell, but there's a whole long list of them, right? Guys that fucked their life off, man. Adam was a young man when he went to prison. He was easily influenced. He was a tough guy. He was a dangerous guy. I was asked recently on another guy's show, Jeff Nadeau, the sit down, who was the most dangerous federal prison inmate you ever been around, like that you lived around? He asked me a question like that, or some sort. And I said, hands down, it was probably Adam Oliveri, man. Adam was a dangerous dude. He'd kill you in a minute. But I know people like Adam, man, because I was once, although I was a leader, I was easily influenced too by the culture or by wanting to have nice things or wanting to have money. And I think the whole mob thing went to his head, and he killed someone. He killed some people at a bar and got that other 20 years or whatever in the state. 14 in the feds, 20 in the state, now 20 or 25 in the feds, right? So what did he do? He did what Troy Kell said. He fucked his whole life off, man. And you could easily fuck your whole life off. It's easy. It's easy to do, man. But is that what you really want to do? You want to be in a place like Pike was at where he's cool with some dudes, so he sends them a message like, hey, man, watch yourself. He's sending sign language. Them dudes are coming to get you guys tomorrow. And because of that, someone finds out, and now they brutally stab the shit out of this kid, man. When I thought, man, it would never happen. Really, I thought, man, they ain't going to try that shit, man. I forgot where I was at for the moment. I forgot that I was in Big Sandy with some of the most vicious people you could ever be around. Dinky. Dinky was calling shots, man. He sent one of his dudes that had 15 years. Now the kid's got, I think Russ might have had 30 years. And then he got another 15. So he fucked his life off too, or he had 20 and got 15. Can you imagine doing 35 years, man? Imagine going to prison with 20 years or 15 years and end up with 25 or 30 more, because that shit happens. And sometimes it happens when you don't want it to happen. Sometimes your situation and where you're at causes you to do things that you don't want to do. Sometimes you might have to kill someone, man, or else they're going to kill you. I met some crazy people, man. I had a little squabble with this dude, man, for no reason. And believe it or not, man, he was a black dude. We were in USP League. He tried some bullshit in the cell, man. And now that I know tough guy shit, I end up beating him up. And I'm thinking, damn, man. I cannot believe that it didn't turn into something bigger. But a lot of people liked me over there, man. And a lot of people knew that the dude was crazy. He was a nutcase. Tried to attack me in my cell. I think it was over a soda or something. Over him wanting to buy a soda but not having no money, or me not giving him credit at my little commissary store I had in the unit. But crazy shit like that happens. That could have turned into me killing him. And I remember, man, when he tried to scoop me, I was choking him. I was watching UFC back then, a bunch of it. So when he tried to scoop me, he put his head under my arm, and I just put my arm there and started choking him. Choked the shit out of him. But what happens if I'd have killed him in my cell? Self-defense? Yeah, right. None of that shit flies. Not in federal court. They don't care. The moral of the story is, man, don't be like Adam, right? Don't fuck your whole life off. Don't end up like Pike, man. You know, Pike almost died because he got up and walked to medical. It almost killed him. He depleted his lungs. They stabbed this dude in both lungs, man. They had to take these big-ass needles and stick them in there. And I remember him telling me that the doctor said, man, I haven't seen nothing like this since Vietnam. This is the type of shit they did in Vietnam. When he got to the hospital, the actual street hospital, he said, I haven't seen nothing like this since Vietnam, where the Big Sandy medical staff had to stick needles into his lungs and save him. And those people that work there, man, they see that shit every day, man. I guess they got better at saving people's lives because Pike was supposed to die. He didn't die. But you could easily be Pike, man. Over nothing. Over something small. Over you looking out for your homeboys, man. You know, 5-6 months later, someone else sees you. The BOP is a small place. It's a big place, but a small place at times. And they say, hey, man, that's the dude, man. And now some other dude's like, fuck it, we're going to kill him. And dudes say it like nonchalant in there, like, yo, I'm about to kill this dude. When Adam said he was going to stab this dude, I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, no, I'm about to stab him. And you're like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm about to go in here and stab this cat, man. And then that's when you see everybody like, wow. Man, this was like a coliseum, man. I'd be lying to you if I told you that it wasn't exciting. Because in the moment, you feel the excitement. Your heart's racing, you start sweating, you start feeling it. Sometimes when I read about it, or I think about it, I feel that. But there's also a sense of fear, too. It's not the life you want to live, man. But you can live it if you want to. You know why? Because it's you. You're the person in the driver's seat. You're the author of your own story. And how your story ends depends on you. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, with respect, we're out.